Behind me is the statue of the burghers of Calais. The current burghers of Calais get most of their electricity from nuclear power. In the UK, we're starting to look at replacing our nuclear power stations, so we're here in Westminster to gauge political opinion around this issue.
This is Calder Hall, Britain's first atomic power station, as it was in July 1955.
It was incredibly positive because people had a real fascination and excitement for science, and they saw science and technology as the way that we could solve the problems of the world.
Advanced gas-cooled reactors can produce power at a cost competitive with modern conventional stations.
The nuclear industry in its early days was seen as experimental, but also the general perception out there in the public was the only thing that they'd ever heard of with the word nuclear in was bomb, and that tended to kill millions of people.
It was something new, therefore people didn't really know what to expect.
It's a complex technology. It's not familiar to most people, so it's very easy to mislead them about what's going on in the nuclear industry and about the risks of the nuclear industry, and people have no real idea of those risks.
It's clear to me that the nuclear industry is to some extent master of its own public relations destiny, and it needs to be more open about the fears the public have.
They kept things very, very secretive, and they were not very good at giving out information. I mean, that changed over the years, but by the time the damage is done, it's a long way back from that point if you haven't been open and honest with people at the time.
Whether we like it or not, there is an association in people's minds between Cold War warriors and nuclear power stations, and also in terms of fears about radiation, about accidents and about waste. Now, there's no point in the nuclear industry simply pretending that because they think they've got a logical answer to those questions, that the public feel the same rational assessment is valid. They've got to be empathic to people's concerns, whether or not those are rational, and then address those in a respectful and a non-patronising way.
The nuclear industry needs to become more open. It needs to open its books. It needs to show it's got absolutely nothing to hide. It needs to start explaining to people how it ticks so many of the positive boxes that the public are looking for these days.
I think that the nuclear industry is becoming more accepted, and one of the reasons for that is France on our doorstep, where people see that over 90% of their power is generated by nuclear power. And if it's all right for the French, why is it so wrong for us? And we indeed buy some of our energy in from France, so a fair whack of our energy that's imported is actually nuclear in any event. And I think one of the questions is, if France can do it, why can't we?